I want to kind of jump back to something that you mentioned about your agency, because I thought this was really, really interesting. That your primary driver of leads is the outbound messaging. And so one of my best friends, I just lived with him for a couple months, lived with him for a year in Mexico. He does the same thing with his agency. He has like a consulting agency, and that's all they do is outbound messaging across Facebook, across Instagram. They have like a pretty dialed in system. I'm curious to hear a little bit more about like what yours looks like. Is it like LinkedIn messages? Are you guys sending messages on Facebook? Like, are you targeting a specific like persona? Like, how does that whole process look?
Yeah. So, I mean, outbound can be done any which way that people are there, right? So all you have to do is identify your target market. If you can identify your target market, you need to find out where they are. So like, are they in Facebook groups? Are they on Instagram? Are they on TikTok? Are they in the phone book, right? Like, where are they? Once you've identified where they are, now it's just a numbers game. And the really important thing is to understand the different levels or the different steps of your sales process. So you're reaching out, then you have, was there a reply? Was a call booked? Was a secondary call booked? Did they close? And do you have to follow up? Like, those are typically like the steps in the sales process. You should have all of your numbers tracked at all times. And it's really important to have every number that I just mentioned tracked at all times, because if you don't, then you're not able to identify your bottleneck. Because you could be like, okay, we're getting a lot of our first calls booked, but they're not booking our second call, our demo call, where we actually go into the presentation. Why is that happening? Or we are reaching out to a ton of people, but no calls are being booked. Why is that happening? So you have to look at that step and then identify what's wrong with that step. And then you can actually relieve these bottlenecks. And once you do, you have more throughput and you're going to have more conversion. But it's really important about identifying those steps, identifying how you can track these numbers, and then sticking to it and tracking it and checking up on it every week.
Nice. So you have that kind of whole system dialed in. You're measuring the numbers from the, outbound message to, are you getting a response? Are you getting someone on the phone, to the second call? Are they closing? And so I think you mentioned that you kind of outsource all of those frontline messages. Are you doing the sales calls yourself, or the demo calls, or is that outsourced as well?
So typically I do the demo, but my appointment setter will do the qualifier. So the qualifier will be like a 15-minute call, just to be like, okay, what are your key problems? How much revenue are you doing? Do you fit our criteria? And then if they do and they want to move to a second call and there's some interest there, then they'll jump on a call with me, and then we'll go over the whole presentation. And I'll dive into more of the pain point. I'll dive into more of, what's the repercussion of inaction, and then I'll present the solution.
Nice. And so is that something that you started out doing originally, was like this like outbound message process, or is this something that just kind of evolved over time? You kind of like, stumbled onto it and it started to work and you really just dove into it?
Yeah. I mean, it just naturally kind of happened, because I was in a lot of Facebook groups, and I would just like start conversations with people in comments, and then end up in the DMs, and then end up on a call. And I closed a couple of people like that. And I was like, man, if I just had someone that just did that for me, that'd be amazing. So that's what we did. And then now I really understand what to say. Like, that opening message is so crucial. Like, what do you say right up front? That, and you've already mentioned that, actually. Like, what would be that one message that would make something, make me look a little further into it? Yeah. Or respond. That first message, man, is so key.
Is that something that you guys like constantly split test, or something that, maybe you did early on, and then you found the message and now you've just been riding with it?
That's it. Yeah. We tested it a ton early on, and then we found the one that was just like, damn, this works. And we've just been riding it for like months now. That's
awesome. That's awesome to hear. Yeah. I've been highly considering starting to build that system, but for me, it doesn't make sense right now. I personally just get a ton of leads from TikTok, and it's at the point where it's like I get too many leads from TikTok. I'm more trying to focus on like the fulfillment and like the back end before we can put some more gas on the fire on the outbound message.